Welcome, dear learners, to this video. Our topic for today is nutrition. So please, if you are not yet subscribed to this YouTube channel, please hit the subscribe button. So now, nutrition. This is one of the characteristics of living things. Okay, so it is a characteristics of living things. So when you start learning biology, first thing you talk about were characteristics of what? Characteristics of living things. Characteristics of living things. Okay, living things. So in place of things, we can say characteristics of what? Living organisms. Okay, and nutrition is one of them. Okay, nutrition, it's a characteristic of living things. Nutrition, and we define this as this is simply the way of obtaining what? Nutrients. Okay, so characteristics of living things, just a way of obtaining nutrients. It's also called feeding. It is also called feeding. Okay, so that is nutrition in simple terms. Okay, just a way by which we obtain nutrients. Okay, we obtain what? Nutrients. Okay, now these nutrients that we're talking about, okay, these are found, nutrients are found in food. They are found in food. Okay, nutrients are found in what? In food. Okay, and these nutrients we have, okay, so examples of nutrients. Examples of nutrients. Okay, examples of nutrients. You have carbohydrates. You have proteins. Okay, you have fats. Fats are also known as lipids. Okay, just to mention a few, but there should be 7. You also have water, is also a nutrient. Okay, water, you also have mineral salts. Okay, so all these are just examples of what? Of nutrients. Okay, all these are examples of nutrients. Okay, they are examples of what? Of nutrients. So now, we say nutrients is simply a way of obtaining. Okay, a way of what? Of obtaining nutrients. Okay, that is what nutrition simply is. Okay, so we can say a nutrient. Okay, we can say a nutrient. A nutrient is anything which, when taken in, will provide the body with a certain, okay, will provide the body with a certain requirement. Okay, so you don't just eat food for the sake of eating. The whole idea of eating food, you are simply trying to acquire what? You're simply trying to acquire nutrients. You're simply trying to acquire nutrients. Okay, so we eat food for a lot of reasons, to feel good because food tastes nice, but the main important thing is to obtain nutrients, because this nutrient, once you take it in, it will provide your body with a certain requirement. Okay, And some of the requirements that you get from eating food is energy. Number one, important. You're going to get energy, okay? Apart from energy, you're going to get some food. They have what they provide with something that can protect you against diseases, okay? Protection against diseases, okay? Protection against diseases, especially a lot of vitamins like vitamin C, okay? Yes, for growth, okay? For growth, okay? Or you can say proper growth. So for proper growth, so just to mention a few, these are things that you expect to acquire when you are eating something, okay? You want to, for energy, protection, for growth, okay? Even just proper functioning of the body, okay? Even just proper functioning of the body. So what have we looked at so far? We said our topic is nutrition, okay? So nutrition is the characteristics of all living things, meaning all living things, they undergo a process where they obtain nutrients, and this is important. We said the nutrient, nutrition is just the way, okay? The way, this is the way of obtaining nutrients, okay? The way of obtaining nutrients, okay? The way the body obtains nutrients. And we've looked at the examples of nutrients. Carbohydrates are nutrients, proteins are nutrients, lipids are nutrients, water, mineral salts, and lastly, a very important nutrient, what we call vitamins, okay? Vitamins, okay? All these are just examples of nutrients. Okay, so we said a nutrient is anything which when taken in, when you take it in your body, it will provide the body with a certain requirement. And what are these requirements? It will give your body energy, it will give your body protection against diseases, and we also eat food for growth, okay? We also eat food for growth, okay? We eat food for growth. So let's look at these nutrients one by one, eh? And to start with, looking at these nutrients, we are going to start with the carbohydrate. Okay, we'll start with the carbohydrate. Okay, so carbohydrates. Okay, so carbohydrates. This is a nutrient. Okay, so carbohydrates, we're going to say these are nutrients. These are nutrients made up of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. So they're made up of these three elements, okay? So if I ask you guys, what are the elements, okay? If you are asked, what are the elements found in carbohydrates? Carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. These are the elements found in carbohydrate, okay? So now function of carbohydrates. The function of carbohydrate, functions of carbohydrates. The functions of carbohydrates, okay? We're going to say they're a source of energy. They give our body energy, okay? They give our body what? Energy. So they're the primary source of energy, okay? They're the primary source of energy. Remember, we said the requirements you get from nutrients, energy, protection against diseases, and growth. So carbohydrates mainly, we eat them so that we can have energy, okay? We eat them so that we can have energy, okay? So let's look at the examples of foods. Examples of foods that contain carbohydrates. examples of foods that contain carbohydrates. Okay, examples of foods that contain carbohydrates. Okay, number one. Okay, number one. So there are a number of foods. Okay, a number of foods that will contain carbohydrates. Okay, a number of them. So we just give a few. Okay, we'll just give a few. So sugar. Okay, carbohydrates in sugar, in milk. Okay, rice, shima. Okay, or maize, cassava. Okay, all these things, they contain what? Carbohydrates. All these foods that I've listed here, they contain carbohydrates. Okay, they contain carbohydrates. Okay, they contain carbohydrates. So now, if you don't eat carbohydrates, okay, if you don't have carbohydrates in your body, you are not going to have energy. Okay, you're not going to have energy. If you don't eat for a long time, you're not going to have what? Energy. Okay, you're not going to have energy. Okay, so we're going to say lack of carbohydrates leads to a certain condition. This condition is called the marasmus. Okay, the condition is called the marasmus. Okay, it is called marasmus. Okay, it is called marasmus. Okay, so let's look at the classes of carbohydrates. Okay, let's look at the classes of carbohydrates. The classes of carbohydrates. Okay, so the classes of carbohydrates are, okay, classes. This one is very important. Okay, classes of carbohydrates. Okay, classes of carbohydrates. Number one, classes of carbohydrates. There are three classes. There are three classes. Okay, number one, you have what we call monosaccharides. Number two, you have what we call disaccharides. Number three, you have what we call polysaccharides. These are the three major classes of carbohydrates. So I'll give you a hint here. The word mono here simply means one. The word di here simply means two. The word poly means, you can say many. Okay, poly means many. Okay, so mono means one, di means two, poly means many. Then saccharide, if you notice, everything ends with saccharides. Saccharide simply means sugar. Okay, it means sugar, or you can say it means glucose. It means sugar or glucose. So when I say monosaccharide, I am saying one sugar or one glucose. Okay, that's the translation here. Monosaccharide, I simply mean one sugar or one glucose. So glucose and sugar simply means the same thing. So when I say disaccharides, I simply mean two glucose. When I say polysaccharides, I mean many glucose. Okay, so that's just the three major types. three major types of the classes of carbohydrates. So let's look at them one by one, starting with the monosaccharides. So monosaccharides, we've already said that monosaccharides simply means one glucose. Okay, one glucose. Okay, monosaccharide. Okay, so monosaccharides, okay, these are the simplest, okay, these are the simplest carbohydrates. These carbohydrates, okay, simplest carbohydrates, okay, made up of one sugar. From the name mono, we said one sugar. So they're the simplest carbohydrates, okay? They are the simplest carbohydrates, okay? And because they are only made up of one sugar, we call them as simple sugars. Okay, we call them as simple sugars, okay? Simple sugars, okay? And the three major ones, so the three monosaccharides that you have to know, the three monosaccharides: number one, glucose itself, it's a monosaccharide, okay. Two, fructose, okay. And three, you have galactose. So these are the three major monosaccharides. The three major monosaccharides: glucose, fructose, and galactose, okay. Glucose, fructose, and galactose. Let's just look at them in a bit. So look at first glucose. So glucose here, okay, this glucose, it's the main sugar, okay, the main sugar, and we can obtain it, can obtain this sugar, the glucose, okay, we can obtain it in honey, even in sugar itself, the one we use to make tea, okay. So main substrate, so they use, okay, so I'll put use here. So glucose, its main use, okay, its main use is for energy, okay. Its main use, glucose, it is energy, okay, sorry, energy is like this, that's a spin, okay. Its main use is for energy, okay, it is for energy, okay. And let's look at fructose. Fructose is a sugar, but it's a sugar that, just from the name fru, this means it's coming from fruits. So a lot of fruits, they taste sweet, so that sweetness you taste in fruits, okay, it comes, it's fructose, okay. So this is from fruits, also in honey, okay, that's where fructose comes from, okay, fruits. So when you're eating a banana or an apple, okay, you're taking what those fruits, so the uses of this fructose, also they give you energy, okay, not only energy, okay, not only energy, they'll also give you other things, okay, not only energy, they'll also give you other things. They are used for pollen in plants, in plants, okay, for pollen in plants. Then lastly, okay, lastly we have galactose. Galactose, this one, Can find it in milk. Okay, can find it in milk. Okay? So most of these they are used for energy. Okay, they are used for energy. Okay, they are all used for energy. Okay, they are used for energy. So these are the three major types of monosaccharides. Okay, galactose, fructose, and glucose. Okay, there are three major. Okay, so let's look at disaccharides. Okay, let's look at disaccharides. Okay, so disaccharides, just from the name, we've talked about it. Okay, so disaccharides okay, disaccharides. Okay, disaccharides, we said two sugars, two sugars, so disaccharides, these are made up of, okay, these are made up of two monosaccharides. So when you add two monosaccharides, you get a disaccharide, something like this: monosaccharide, okay, plus another monosaccharide, this will give you a disaccharide. To give you a disaccharide, okay? So monosaccharide plus monosaccharide will give you a disaccharide. Now monosaccharides, we looked at them: glucose, fructose, and galactose. Okay, these are the three monosaccharides. So for example, if you add, let's say, the monosaccharide here, we get glucose, plus we add another monosaccharide, we add another glucose. Here you're going to get a disaccharide, and when you add glucose and glucose, you get maltose. Okay, so maltose is a disaccharide. Okay, look at another example again, e.g., so if, let's say, we get glucose plus fructose, okay, all these are monosaccharides, you add them, you get what we call sucrose. So these are examples of disaccharide. Maltose is a disaccharide, sucrose is a disaccharide. Okay, then if we were to add glucose plus galactose, you're going to get lactose. Okay, so this lactose, sucrose, and maltose, they are what? Okay, they are disaccharides. Okay, so like I said, disaccharides are made up of two monosaccharides. Okay, so when you add two monosaccharides, you get a disaccharide. So we added two monosaccharides, glucose plus glucose, we got maltose. Okay, when you add glucose plus fructose, you got sucrose. Glucose plus galactose, we get lactose. Okay, lactose. Okay, so these disaccharides, say the lactose. The lactose is called the milk sugar. It's found in milk, the lactose. Okay, lactose, milk sugar. Not only in milk, also in dairy products. These like ice cream, yogurt. That's where you can get your lactose. Then sucrose, this is cane sugar. Sugar from sugar cane. Okay, sugar cane. You can find it in what we call sugar, the one we use for making tea. It is sucrose. Okay. Then maltose. Maltose is found in things like shima, okay, cassava. It's known as the malt sugar. It's known as the malt sugar. Okay, it's known as the malt sugar. Okay, so that's all for this video. In our next video, we'll look at, we said there are 3 types. We've looked at monosaccharides, disaccharides. So in our next video, we'll talk about polysaccharides, which are made up of many sugars. Okay, many sugars.